What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Today we will be taking a little bit of time to look at the Syndicate Co-op. Now, Syndicate was just released. I got it on the PC. It is also available on the 360 and PS3. The game's been pretty fun. I've spent quite a bit of time with it today, and I just wanted to take some time, show you one of the co-op missions, talk with you about the game, my experience with it, what I think about it, all sorts of jazz like that. Loadout screen, this is basically you loading into the match. You saw right there at the beginning, it says waiting for other players to load. Once they're there, everyone's in the ship and the ship begins to land. So from what I've seen, that's been the same way for every level. I mean, you obviously are landing in different locations and there's different types of vehicles, but it's pretty much the same. Let's talk about the co-op at the most basic level. You're trying to score points. How do you score points? By shooting people, by killing people, or by assisting your team. Now, there is assist points as well as kill points, so if you unload into a target but someone else gets the kill, you're still going to get points for it. From what I gather, it's just based off percentage of health damage that you did. As far as I'm aware, that's exactly how it works. But not only that, you get also points for completing objectives and assisting your team. Specifically in terms of assisting your teammates, what is that going to imply? Healing them up, as well as reviving them. There is a revival system. You can be what is known as down but not out. And if you get into that kind of incapacitated mode, you are still able to move. This is something that a lot of games are adopting, especially a lot of co-op games. What comes to mind for me specifically is Gears of War, and in this situation where you took what should be considered deathly damage, it knocks you down, and then you can be revived by your teammate unless you get kind of executed. So the same sort of system works. There might be a better example. Gears of War is just the one that comes to mind. So you will notice points every time I get a kill. There'll be a point score associated with it. And sooner or later, you are going to see heals and revives in here as well. I'm pretty sure in this particular match, it was necessary. I had a decent team. Wasn't amazing, but it wasn't the worst either. People were confident enough to know the objective and stuff like that. Now, you did notice the dart overlay, or at least it came up, and I'll mention it next time it comes up, because I want to show you that. That's pretty cool. Here's a perfect example. I'm reviving this person. They were crawling. They should have been dead for all intensive purposes, but since the game lets you revive, no problem. So this is the dart overlay, and anything in orange is going to be an enemy. And they're solid orange, which means you can't shoot them from that position, but there's also, I don't know, the fragmented orange, I'll call it. And in that means they're within range, you're able to shoot them and actually deal damage to them as well. You're gonna see me scanning around right there using the dart overlay. And you activate that just by hitting Q, and then you kind of flip your head around, try to find the enemies, and then go from there. It's a pretty cool little system. And I like the fact that it allows you to kind of, with your team, be strategic, figure out where your enemies are, how many they are. You don't have to just rely on being directly within their vision. Now, in terms of mission objectives, you obviously notice that giant exclamation mark on the screen. That's going to tell you where your next objective is. Here's going to be a heal as well, trying to avoid grenades and healing. So those giant exclamation marks, it means, hey, there's something that you need to be doing over there. Put up the dart overlay and I'm like, oh boy! So you're gonna notice how the solid orange, that means they're blocked in their position. But if they're the fragmented orange, you can shoot them. I'm sure that's gonna come up again. Lots of guys. Plenty of enemies to dispatch of. So mission objectives, pretty straightforward. You'll get a giant exclamation mark. Really haven't noticed any issues either. Sometimes in games you'll have this situation where you'll be shown where an objective is, but it's not very intuitive as to how to get there. I didn't really find that to be the case in this game. It was always, you saw the exclamation mark, and there's a pretty obvious path to get to that location. And I like that because it can be frustrating, especially when you're getting to know a game and you're getting to know the levels and the maps and stuff like that. To have some place that you're directed to going to, but you have no idea as to how to get there. I mean, obviously you could just say, don't be a dummy, but having a nice clear path to objective, I think, is pretty good for a game like this. I mean, it's an FPS, right? It's a shooter. It's a team-based cooperative shooter, at least in the co-op mode, and it's meant to be straightforward and linear. It's more about kind of working together and not finding your way so much, but working together to overcome your enemies that you have within that path, within that relatively linear path. In this particular situation, we had to grab these briefcases and bring them to the helicopter. So I bring up the dart overlay. I'm like, oh no, more baddies. If you're holding a pistol, a one-handed weapon, while you're carrying things like a briefcase, you can still fire. If you only have, there's 2 weapon slots. You can have 2 weapons carried at any given time. And if you only have 2-handed weapons while you're carrying the briefcase, they won't let you use a weapon at all, obviously. You're not going to walk around with one arm. And actually, here I am being incapacitated like a huge dummy. And you can still move around, as you can see. Even get a speed boost there. I'm going to get rebooted. Ah, thank you, friend. And then reboot this guy, and we continue along our merry way. Now, something that I haven't mentioned yet is what is known as breaching. It's actually a big part of the game. Even the whole rebooting system or healing up your enemies uses what is known as breaching. So there's support breaching, and then there's offensive breaching. Offensive breaching is going to allow you, there's various types of things you can do. The specific breach that I have that is offensive is going to be backfire. And backfire basically causes my opponent to self-destruct, essentially. Really, really neat. But it's pretty interesting the way they do it in this game. If you have an opponent and you're trying to backfire, or if you have a teammate and you're trying to resurrect them or heal them, if multiple people are within range doing it at the same time, you will accomplish it that much faster. It will progress that much faster. And I know that's not unheard of. It's kind of like in games where they have King of the Hill, and if there's 2 or more people in the hill, then you capture it faster. It's sort of like that. But yeah, breaching is a big part of this game, and that even comes into effect here. This is what we'll consider a semi-boss fight. There are situations where opponents, very strong opponents like this one that we're facing against now, will become weakened. In fact, you can see right now he's listed as immune. So we're just kind of waiting for that time to pass, and gonna unload clips into him, and then you can weaken him. And again, if multiple people are breaching him at that point, and we breach by holding down E, if multiple people are breaching him at that point, it's going to be accomplished that much faster. And that's why teamwork is important, because these guys hit hard. This guy in particular hits very, very hard. I don't know if many of us got down. You're going to notice that link right there. You see 2 of them doing it. And at the end, it was 3 of them. And that was my teammates right within range, all breaching at the same time. And as a result, they accomplished that breach that much faster. Now he's no longer immune, and you can see he's vulnerable, and this now allows us to unload. That's exactly what happens. Now we unload until he goes immune again. Be able to kind of leap over things. It's a relatively fluid moving experience here in this game, which I quite enjoyed. Except for almost dying there. Really bad position. So you will notice he's immune again, and then bam, right there. I was holding down E, we broke that immunity, and now we can shoot him again. Does he not look like Master Chief? Yeah, I think so too. And there's the immunity. We just have to break it one last time. There it is. And we hold down E, breach, and there we go. And time for an execution. Execution is done with the middle mouse button. Yes, so 2 weapon slots, as I mentioned. You have 2 weapon slots. I guess we'll call it a main hand and offhand. That's designated in your initial loadouts too when you first start off the game. And we will be taking a look at loadouts and upgrades and stuff like that at the end. I mentioned earlier too that I would explain why I'm doing it at the end later on. The reason I like to do that stuff at the end, I hate, like, when people introduce a game, it's usually the first 10 minutes are like, here are the options of the game, blah. It's like, nobody really wants to see that first. Generally, people want to see the gameplay. So I'm kind of doing it in reverse. First, we're going to take a look at a level, and then we'll take a look at all the customization options, the leveling up. There's a progression system in this game, and you level up weapons, you level up upgrades, you level up your, I don't even know what we call them. I'll just call them your character. You level up your character. I think they're called agents. Pretty sure they're called agents. Again, using the dart overlay, if you ever, for any second, are unsure where your opponents are, dart overlay is going to be a great way to find your opponents and find your allies as well. Just locate where everyone is in the battlefield. Taking a look at the HUD momentarily, the heads-up display. Oh, there's a melee kill. Melee kill is done with middle mouse button on the PC. It's pretty much an instant kill from what I gathered. I think the only thing the only point in time where that wouldn't be the case, most likely, I have to assume, is going to be from those stronger enemies. Breaching. There you are. And then now we have to get some more suitcases and bring it onto an aeroplane. I guess it's a helicopter. Was I talking about anything in particular? Here's another heavy opponent. He was actually softened up by the time we got upstairs. And then just a matter of taking out these guys. Alright, so taking a look at the HUD, that's what I was talking about. So those are your allies on the upper portion of the screen. It shows where they are, how much health they have. You can heal them. Just healed that guy. It's also going to show their powers, the particular abilities that they have, whether or not they've used them recently. You will notice my backfire is on cooldown if you take a look in the lower left-hand position. Backfire is the ability that I have to use against other people, against opponents, enemies in the game. And that does have a fairly lengthy cooldown, but that is also because it is very strong. And so now that we've cleared the roof, we're gonna head down, grab our suitcases, and complete the objective. Those little, I'll call them ammo stations. Those are scattered throughout the levels from what I've seen. I've played about 4 or 5 co-op levels, and all of them have those various checkpoints. You'll get those ammo stations. And this allows you, say the weapon that you have in your pre-loadout isn't used on the map. You know, a lot of times you have to use the weapons that your enemies are using because they drop them when you kill them. If it happens to be the case where, say you have a sniper rifle and none of the opponents on that particular map use the sniper rifle, so you don't get ammo for it, these ammo stations are going to allow you to still maintain that weapon, not worry about running out of ammo. They've been fairly frequent too. I've noticed there's quite a few of them, quite a few indeed. All right, so our last objective now. Bringing the hard drives to the helicopter. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of healing in this game. This is on the basic level too. The game first came out, no one's really high level. People don't have a lot of upgrades, anything like that. People don't have a lot of attachments to their weapons. So everyone's kind of bare bones. Game just came out today. And still, you know, lots of great teamwork, and I love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. I think especially with a good group of friends, this would be a really fun game, a 4-player co-op game. What a blast. And that's going to do it. We dropped this off, and that is going to complete this particular mission. This mission was very straightforward and in a pretty centralized location. The other missions that I have done so far have actually been more spread out. All still relatively linear, but more spread out. Kind of more scenery, essentially. You get to go more places. This was actually the most centralized one, but I thought it was a decent one to show, nevertheless. All right, guys, now we will be jumping into, now that we have finished the gameplay portion, we will be jumping into the customization options in the game. And here we go. To wrap things up, I did want to spend a little bit of time showing you guys through all the different information and customization options for co-op as well. So starting off in the lobby, if you're creating a game or joining a game, this is where you're going to come up from the beginning. Now, as the game host right now, I'm currently in a private lobby. I've got the option to start the game. You've got map selection as well, selecting basically all the different co-op levels that you can play in. In addition to that, you've got a difficulty setting between normal and hard and expert. Those are the 3 difficulties available. Character selection, nothing too crazy about this, is just the skin. It doesn't really affect your loadout. It's the loadout that is going to determine the weapons and the abilities that you have as well. And you can see you've got the loadout for support, offensive, and defensive. Those are the 3 default loadouts. They can be customized to your liking, and then of course we've got weapon customizations and ability customizations as well. The option to invite a friend or syndicate member, we'll get into syndicate members later on, and then a syndicate report as well. Now, starting on the left-hand side, you've got the wall. These are basically just all your most recent achievements, everything that you recently accomplished, leveling up, ranking up, stuff like that. Again, there's the lobby. Agent, this is where most of the customization is going to come from. You can, of course, go straight into your loadouts and select the various weapon types you want for the various types of loadouts. Oh boy, don't want to save that at all. So for offensive, I can switch my weapons and any stuff like that, and then you can go into defensive. You can switch your applications, which are basically your special abilities, your buff, the buffs that you have in here. Starting out, you've got backfire, C2C pulse, squad heal, and EMP, shielding, damage link, all these different things. And you can pause if you want to read through that. I'm not going to read you all these paragraphs. Come on, it's ridiculous. And make sure, I'm going to switch this into defensive. Make sure I don't save those changes because I do like the loadout that I have for that. So yeah, there's offensive, defensive, and all that stuff can be customized once more to your liking and their support. This is the loadout that I'm currently using, offensive, with the TAR 39, APP3, and then backfire for my app 1. I can't get the second app yet. I haven't basically unlocked that. Game just came out, just getting started with it. All right, so those are the loadouts. You've got chip upgrades as well. These are buffs for for you. Various buffs for you. You can see the ones that I've selected here. The bullet points are what you really want to read if you want to figure out exactly what's going on quickly, as opposed to reading the few sentences there. So you start off with these three. You start off with Breach, Heal, and Reboot, and then you can go where you want. From Reboot, I basically took a path straight down and then went into some health stuff as well. So starting off with Reboot and then going down into Dampen Blast, so taking 33% less damage, immune to damage from my own explosives. Sprint no longer causes fatigue, faster regeneration, healing, and then a little bit extra faster regeneration while the Dart Overlay mode is up. And in the gameplay, we took a look at the Dart Overlay mode. And as you can see, I do have one unspent point, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put it right here. Agents have 25% more health. No, that's stupid. I'm not going to spend it right now, but there you go. That's the... those are essentially passive upgrades that you have for yourself. Pretty awesome stuff. All right. Next, on to weapon research. Again, just you have the ability to level up and specify in the types of weapons you want to use, and you can see right there for this particular weapon right here, I've got fully upgraded in those two things. You spend the blueprint tokens to start to unlock one of these, so why don't I go ahead and actually, and no, that's not a weapon that I actually want to do. We're going to do TAR 39. Okay, so I've got 4 points left for that, and I'm going to put this into FSS ammo. So I'm going to spend that, the blueprint tokens, yes. And then now I can put this to the active one, and that's the one that's going to focus up on leveling. And then hitting spacebar will queue up the next one as well. Let me switch that since I'm already in here. I'm going to do that as active, and then I'll queue up the FSS ammo after that. And then after a couple of games, that will completely max itself out. And then besides that, and you can obviously do that for all the weapons, unlock additional weapons as well by spending the points. I prefer to just stick with, the main weapon that I use, fully go with that, which again right now that's the TAR 39 assault rifle that I'm currently using. Application research, this is more upgrades. As you can see, you can pick particularly where you want to put it. And let me think here, I actually have 9 application tokens, so I can do one of these. Let me do it for backfire. Backfire is what I'm using anyways. Oh, I don't even have that, so I gotta... Okay, so this is gonna be to purchase another one. Obviously, I don't quite have the points for that yet, because I need 10. I need to complete the China application to get that. My gosh, what the heck is going on? Oh well, it doesn't matter. I need the chip modifier to be able to get this stuff. Module chip 1 upgrade, which I don't have yet. One of those things, you just continue to play, unlock those, and then you've got challenges, contracts, and things like those. You get rated in stars depending on the levels that you've completed and how you performed in those levels. Syndicate. Syndicate is essentially a guild as far as I'm concerned. You have members, there's experience, there's total experience, there's also your position on the leaderboard. I am a single person, and I'm 149th currently on the Syndicate leaderboard. Force Strat, or FSG, is the name of my syndicate. If you'd like to join, let me know. You can take a look at members and statistics. I think I might actually keep playing this game, so if people would like to join, you feel free. Take a look at the stock market. I really see the Syndicate global ranking over time. That's what that is. And then there are the leaderboards, management goals. You can take a look at how your syndicate is doing. And then you can leave the syndicate, but don't! It'd be terrible. Info bank, this is just gonna be, whenever you discover something or unlock something, your info bank gets updated. So this is just a catalog of stuff. It's just basically explaining things that you've already learned. Maybe you forget about the breaching basics, so you'd want to go back to here and read through it. Oh, okay, this is how I breach. Yeah, this is what it does. That's essentially what that is. And then a mission summary is going to give you a summary of your most recent mission, everything that happened during that. Where you scored on the leaderboard, how far up you ranked, the researches that you got, the application tokens you got, all that stuff. You can see even the list right there. And that is it. So that's the customization in Syndicate. Game's pretty fun. I'm having a great time with it. Let me know what you guys think about it. And yeah, if you'd like to join the Force Syndicate, I guess you can send me a message in game. I don't even know if that's a possibility. Maybe you can. Look me up. Who knows? Game's pretty fun. I had a good time. I enjoyed the co-op. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.